Hello and welcome back to this week's episode. My name is Talissa. In this episode we will discuss the signs and symptoms of PTSD. The first is re-experiencing symptoms. This includes our intrusive thoughts, our intrusive memories, nightmares and flashbacks. The second group or second cluster of symptoms is known as avoidance. These include avoiding places, people or events that remind you of the original trauma. Ahedonia is when a person no longer enjoys activities that they once did. The last group of symptoms is known as physiological hypervigilance, and this is generalized anxiety, irritability, difficulty falling asleep, and easily startled response. The way I like to remember these symptoms is by using the acronym TRAP, where T stands for the trauma, which is the original force that produced the injury. R is the re-experiencing symptoms. A is for avoidance, and P stands for the physiological hypervigilance. It is important to note that the lived experience of PTSD is not linear, that is, from the top of this acronym to the bottom, and instead is a continuous feedback loop. Let's hear about some examples of re-experiencing symptoms.
I was in Fremantle with a friend. We were just, having a look around. There's plenty of big cafe strip, cars, and a simple thing, a car backfiring, and it just felt like I was back in the conflict zone and just heard an IED go off. So my heart was elevated. It was the full fight or flight response.
Re-experiencing symptoms are often distressful, as they make the person feel the same as they did when the original trauma took place. This is because the memory is not stored correctly and circulates in the subconscious mind. This concept leads in perfectly to the next cluster of symptoms, known as avoidance.
I was drinking huge amounts each day, and that was how I avoided the world. I would lock myself in my house, and I was, an alcoholic, and I avoided everything by not leaving the house. I mean, that's quite a extreme case.
Ahedonia is when a person no longer enjoys activities that they once did. This includes hobbies and social interaction.
Simple things can include not attending family events. You've always got an excuse. Lies come into it a lot. When people ask me to do something, I would always have an excuse, and if people knocked on the door, I would usually hear a car turn up. I would turn everything off and just sit there, and that was where I was happy.
The hallmark of PTSD symptoms would be physiological hypervigilance. In PTSD, physiological hypervigilance and baseline functioning is higher than that of normal. It is the body's response to the unprocessed trauma, which is also known as the fight, flight, or freeze response.
Hypervigilance for me is something I can't really turn off. If I'm at home and I hear noises, I'll have to go have a look and see what it is. If I'm out and about, I'm always on guard. I'm always watching my surroundings. I'm always taking everything in, listening. If I can't sit with my back to an open area, I'll usually put myself in a corner and where I can look out. And it's tiring. It would be nice to be able to switch off and just relax and have fun.
In summary, the symptoms of PTSD can be easily remembered by using the acronym TRAP, where T stands for trauma, R, re-experiencing symptoms, A, avoidance, and P, physiological hypervigilance. In the next episode, we will talk about the parts of the brain that are affected by PTSD and how this relates to the symptoms.